Good. All right. Well, we should be able to hear each other clearly now. And let me start off with a look at homework. All right, so right now you're working on completing the activities on your portal in preparation for your first forum. And the first set of activities you have are here, the contrast between present perfect and simple past. And we looked at that last week. Right, in the first one, you're looking at my experiences in Mexico. Have you ever been to Mexico City? When was the last time you visited? Did you like it? What places did you go? If you have never been to Mexico City, take the chance to pay a visit there. In the meantime, read about Catherine's experience in Mexico City. Then complete the text with the best options. And here you were to go through using either the past simple or the present perfect. All right, for example, here you would have selected, I have been to Mexico City twice. It would have shown you whether it's right or not, and then you'd have continued completing each one and taking screenshots of that until you get to the end. In activity 2, you were supposed to go through some listening. And in the listening activity, your focus was similar. Have you ever tried escamoles? All right, little ant eggs. All right, have you ever eaten exotic food? Did you like it? Where did you eat it? Listen to Stephen and Catherine talk about Mexican food, then answer true or false. All right, the audio is not very long. You'd have clicked to listen to the audio. And once you've completed listening, clicking here, once you've completed listening, you'd have gone on to activity 2. In activity 2, you'd just be choosing whether it's true or false, then check in. All right, that's activity 2. In activity 3, you have to write. Now, as recommended, the goal would, of course, be for you to be able to have a folder, an online folder. Now, this is an example of an online folder. You can create an online folder in your own email or by coming into the classroom and using the drive here in the classroom and creating your folder there. Once you've completed your writing activity, then you would upload. Now, there are many ways of doing it. You could have done it in Word on your computer first, or opening a sheet. You can use a sheet here and just write it in while you're working on it. Right? An example is given, and the goal here is 1, have you ever been to another city? Stephen visited Italy in 2014, and this is what he experienced there. Write a paragraph using present perfect and simple past with the following schedule. All right. Stephen, well, be in Italy once, always eats in restaurants. On July 2nd, visit Tower of Pisa. On July 3rd, go to Venice. On July 4th, take a tour around Rome. On July 5th, see a soccer match. Never before assist to a soccer match. Be careful here with this word assist. A much better word would be attend. All right. Never before attended a soccer match. Assist is better used when we're talking about helping. All right, so not assist. Never before attended a soccer match. On July 6th, eat pizza and pasta. On July 7th, return home. Before starting to write, read the rubrics for a self-evaluation and click here to read an example. Now, the example looks like this. Not a very long one. And you notice the use of simple past and present perfect. Stephen has been in Italy once. He has always eaten in restaurants. Now tell me what he did there. On July 2nd, he visited the Tower of Pisa, but there were no restaurants near the place, so he had to wait. The walking tour ended. Here, we're going to be looking at words to kind of make this even better. A good word to use here would have been, he had to wait until the walking tour ended. On July 3rd, he went to Venice. He had never been there, and it was the place he liked the most. He traveled by Vaporetto. Now, if you don't know what new words are, you can look at it in the dictionary or that I shared with you, or translate the word. And of course, you can always just Google it, right? This is a Vaporetto. It's one of those ferry-looking boats that you can use when you're traveling. Now, of course, my computer is tuned to Spanish, but if you wanted to see this in English, you can always just write the word meaning, and it will give you a definition. In Venice, it's a canal boat. Originally steamboats, but now they have motors, they have engines, so you can always look for your words in English like that. And of course, it's going to translate. If you want to see pictures, you can always go to the image search, etc. And bought some souvenirs for his friends and family at the Murano Island. I think there's a plaza or a mall here in Mexico City called Murano. He also visited St. Mark's Square where the weather was extremely hot. He saw a gelato shop. Since he had never tasted it, he decided to try some delicious Venetian gelato. It was delicious. You would write something similar, save this to your folder as well. All right, the rubric for writing is like this. All right, I'll start reviewing your submissions. Some of you have already completed it, so I'm going to give you some feedback today. You can always double check how well by looking at your rubric. Now remember, all that we're doing, we are saving copies in your folder. All right, last one is speaking, talking about other cities or countries. Have you ever visited another city or another country? Where did you go? Who did you go with? What did you like about the place? How many times have you been there? Remember to use simple past and simple present in your activity. If you have any questions about it, you can visit the presentation section about this topic, or of course, you can ask it today in today's class. Same thing here. There is a sample audio for you to review. You can listen to it. And when it comes to the speaking activity, you're going to be recording yourself. You can record on your computer, record on your phone, record on an app. Save the recording and put it in your folder. All right. Just like with the writing activity, there is a rubric to kind of guide you on how well you did your speaking activity. And just as before, I will give you some feedback. And finally, you're going to do the assessment activities. Where is the information? Alan is talking to you. He is asking some questions about homework and projects. Go to the bottom of the page, select the correct answers to complete the dialogue. You click on self-assessment and you complete the activity by pulling them to the right spot. All right, so you're going to you're going to read it, and then you pull the answer you think is correct and drop it here. Once completed, you will get a chance to close. Same thing here, completing sentences. Complete the sentences with the simple past or present perfect. Do not use contractions in negative sentences. All right, so here you're being asked to write. All right, so write out the correct answer. Once you've typed out everything, you get an opportunity to check. All of this, you're also taking screenshots and you're saving it all to your folder. That was basically homework 1. Now, for those who were getting through, I've noticed you've also done this and this one. Excellent work. In today's class, I'm going to go over the content for time adverbs and adverb phrases. Now, as you can tell from time adverbs, the focus here were adverbs like yet, already, recently, lately, never, ever. Now, we saw some of these last week. We're going to look at some more, right? And we're going to be looking at some phrases. Now, when we say phrases, it means we're going to be using a combination of words. So things like last night, yesterday morning, last year. We saw some of these last class as well. And we're going to look at some more of these adverb phrases. The goal is, if you have not done so, by the end of this session, you should feel comfortable to complete all of your activities and then, dun 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 dun, complete your forum activity. Once you've completed all 3 with your 5 sets of activities, remember each block has 4 activities plus self-assessment in your online folders, then I'd recommend moving on to the forum. Some of you already done the forum. Good job. All right, so let's begin. Thank you so much for all of those who have already started the attendance list today. Good job. I think we're getting some good practice here. Thank you for also including your original groups. If you did not do so, make sure you go back and include your original groups. Just a note, if you missed a class, remember guys, you can always go and watch the recording from class 1 and put your name and group in the comments section here. All right, if you missed last class, find your recording and put it there. If for whatever reason Classroom is not working, you can do that over here. You can find my recording there. All right, good. Let's begin. Last class, we were looking at 2 concepts. Past simple, which is either using the ed ending or the irregular form, or present perfect, have or has plus the participle form. We're going to continue that conversation. But in this class specifically, we're going to be looking at the use of these types of words plus the present perfect, as well as other phrases we can use with the past simple. Now, as I mentioned, on this side, you can take a look at what we're doing. So for example, last class we did this one. Now we're here. This is also useful. I'm also going to be looking at the use of adverbs in general to kind of start off our conversation. Now, to make this a little bit more dynamic, I'm going to include you in the reading. I'm going to ask you questions. And of course, we're going to finish by doing activities together. We're going to start off here. When we think of adverbs, we're thinking of words that help us to add some context to our sentences. They're very varied types of adverbs, and we generally group them in when, where, how, in what measure, and how often. Now, in this particular set, we're looking more at the ones that help us with time. All right. So one, adverbs of time, like today, tomorrow, last week, next month, already, eventually, still, soon, yet, now, later. These help us to express time. There is also adverbs of place, right here, over there, everywhere, nowhere. There is also adverbs of grade, which helps us to kind of in what way, how much, to what degree. All right. So very, really, almost, hardly, quite, barely. Those help us to express degree. Of course, modals. So a little bit more about the how. Loudly, carefully, softly, beautifully, fast, hard. One thing you'll notice about adverbs is lots of them end with y or ly. There's also adverbs of frequency. Often, frequently, usually, sometimes, rarely, seldom, and never. All of these help us to express something about the action in our sentence. Now, adverbs are modifying words. So they're generally modifying verbs, hence the name, adding to the verb. Now, for our class, let's zone in. Let's zone in on some of those words that help us to describe something as we saw in our unit. Let's look at these. Already, just, still, and yet. I'll give multiple people opportunities to speak. And as we did last time, I'm going to switch over to English so you can practice your reading. All right, here we go. Let me put the box over here. And let me start with Leah Sharon. When do we use already? Read for us.
¿Me podrías repetir, por favor?
Yeah, read for us. When do we use already? Read here and the examples.
Already refers to something that happened before or sooner than expected and generally is located between the auxiliary verb and the principal verb.
All right, examples.
They have already finished their homework.
Mhm.
Jacob has already left work. The train has already arrived.
Right. Now, when we look at adverbs, we're saying something happened in the sentence. Give us some clues about to what happened, and in this case, how it happened. All right. Next one, just. Jessica? Jessica Aime?
Sí. Just is used for actions or events that occurs shortly before or not long ago and like already. Just is located like, either before the principal verb or between the auxiliary verb and the principal verb.
Examples?
Examples: I just ate, but I am already hungry again. Where's Jacob? He's just left. Beth has just moved to New York.
Good. Now we know that in sentence 1, the activity was completed. And in sentence 2, the activity is also completed. The big difference? Time. Now, present perfect isn't trying to show you exact time, it's trying to give you a range. All right? So this was completed before or sooner than you expected, and this was completed in the close period to now. All right? Let's look at another one. Still. Carlos Francisco.
Yes, we use still for actions or events that have not happened or have not end, especially when we expect the actions or events to have happened. Sooner still is frequently used with other verbs tense, but regardless or the verb tense. This adverb is always found before the principal verb.
Examples.
Yes, I took 2 pills, but I still have a
Headache.
headache. It's Jacob still working at the hospital. They still haven't finished the homework.
Good. Still is almost the opposite of already. Already was completed before or sooner than the time, but still hasn't been completed. Started, but hasn't been completed. Another one that's more on the negative side is yet. Alessandra? Oh, we lost Alessandra just when I was about to call on her. All right, let's continue with Sebastian.
Yeah. Yet is used for something we expected to have happened but has still not happened. We tend to use this adverb in negative and interrogative sentences, in contrast to the other adverbs discussed here. Yet is generally found at the end of the sentence. Examples: I am really hungry. I haven't eaten yet. Jacob hasn't left his job at the hospital yet. Have they finished their homework yet? Has the train arrived yet?
Good. So, like still, there was expectation, started the activity, not finish. Generally used at the end. And even more flexible than still, it's what we use in questions. Now, if we go back, we saw quite a few. We saw yet, already, but we saw some more. We saw words like recently, lately, never, ever. Well, let's see if we can dive in and look at those already. Before I go any further, though, remember, in English, these are just some of the many types of adverbs that you have. We are looking in our session specifically at words we can use to talk when we're describing activities that are connected from your past. Either they are completed, for example, simple past, or they're connected to the past, but they're still influencing our present, present perfect. Lots of different words can be used for lots of different things. If you want to take a dive into all the different types of adverbs, this link that I'll share with you later gives you a full look of all the adverbs and how you can use them in English. There's also a video that goes over all of them as well. Now, let's continue. When it comes to others, like yet and still, and already and just. We heard the use of those. We didn't hear to, though. Let's look at some more. Ever and never. Now we know just events that recently occurred, recent past events. Let's dive into ever and never. Alessandra, is your microphone working now? I noticed we lost you for a second there. Can you hear us?
Yes.
All right. Read for us, Alessandra. Never ever.
Never ever. When the adverbs ever and never are used the present perfect tense, they usually refer to an event happening or not happening at some moment in your life, any time up to now. Every use in the present perfect question, have you ever fallen asleep at work at any moment in your life up to now? Has he ever tried a stick and mushroom pie in his life? Ever also be used with the first time. This is the first time I have ever been to Australia. It's is the first time she has ever done. Ever in this case emphasize that it has never happened before in your life. Also notice the position of ever between have, has, and the past participle. Never. At no time in my past, it is considered a negative sentence. I've never seen a UFO in my life.
UFO?
UFO in my life. She's never been to Argentina in her life up until this point of her life. Again, the verb never is beating the auxiliary have or has and the past participle.
All right. And if you're wondering what a UFO is, it's a unidentified flying object. In Spanish, we just move the letters around, but it's something that we don't know and we think it's an alien object. All right. So that's ever and never. In this one, it will give you a run through of all of those as well, also providing lots of examples that you can use. I'll share this with you as well later. But we had some more. We noticed that there are also some words like recently and lately. Now, these, we saw them when we were looking at the long list. That long list put recently and lately very close to others. And we kind of see some of them in the when section. But where is the recently and the lately? That's closer to over here in the time. Now, when we look at these phrases, I want you to remember we're using them with present perfect or we're using them with past simple. Now, since present perfect is what we're mostly looking at, I'm going to be taking time to share with you a lot of different ways of practicing it, particularly for those who are still going through the unit. I'll share this one as well so you can see more examples. All, if not most, will have ways for you to test what you're working on. All right? When we see lately and when we see recently, we're basically double checking time. Lately is going through our habits, and recently, like just, is very close to now. Over here, we also have another set of activities that we'll dive into when practicing. The other piece of today's class takes a look at phrases. So we have these that are just words. We also have this one that takes a look at phrases. Now, these adverb phrases, like last night, yesterday morning, last year, would combine some of the words we saw and let us know, is it a specific time in the past or is it a range from the past to our present? And I'll give you some examples of those phrases with this link. There are lots of different phrases. The ones I want you to pay attention to are the ones that we're going to be using for present perfect and past simple. Things like we saw, recently and lately, because there are lots of different words. All right, try to focus on the ones that are also useful for phrasing. So last night, that's the night before today. Last month, the month before this month. Last year. All right, look at the ones that are two words or more that can be used in phrases. The idea there is to practice, and we'll come back over here so that you can find some practice as well. Now, when it comes to practice, hopefully no one falls off the wagon, but I'll also share with you some post-unit work for those who still have questions after we've finished. Remember, all of what we're working on today and last week, our deadline for the submissions of these activities is next Tuesday. All right, so make sure that you're on top of it and that you're getting everything done before Tuesday the 9th. All right, let's practice. I'm going to be using the practice from here. I'm just going to open up these two. And if we don't finish everything, we'll work on some of the ones from the other pages as well. Let's go with, all right, data. Just close the ad. Give me a second. There we go. All right. All right, data, write your answer in the chat. I'll scroll down a little bit so that we can go on to Darian for number 2. Darian, number 2. Should we use already, just, still, or yet? Are you there with us, Darian? All right, let's see what Dara says. All right, Kelly, you have to give her a chance, Kelly. Dara, is that the answer that you were going to write? And Darian, are you here with us? Or is Darian a UFO?
Ya, perdón, es que no me agarraba el internet.
Okay, let's see.
We are still rehearsing for the concert.
We are what?
Still.
We are still rehearsing for the concert. All right, good. All right, so Dara said, I already walked in the door. Can I call you later? Yes, but the clue here is the time. Already is used for when the item is completed, but when it's very close to now, we use just. All right, I'll scroll back over here. I'll switch back over to Spanish so you can see the examples with some Spanish scaffolding. All right, so yes, already is used for completed. Just, however, is when it's so close to the now, very close to already. All right. So for that one, the best option there would be I just data. All right. Number two, we are still, meaning it's not finished. Let's continue with Diane. Number three. Are you there with us, Diane? Or is
Already?
not you, Darian, Diane. Let's see. All right, Deanne says already. Guys, if your internet is not working, let me know. All right, so we can do some adjustments. The idea is for you to practice. Donna, number four.
Sería, have you gone to the store still?
All right. What do we normally put at the end of sentences, Donna, when we're asking questions? If we remember, the one that we usually put at the very end of questions is
Yet?
yet. All right. Be very careful also with the pronunciation. Yet, like Kanye. Yeah. Yet. All right. Have you gone to the store yet? Repeat.
Have you gone to the store yet?
All right. Let's continue with Eliot Zuriel, number five.
Yes, is you already start that new job and you are still complaining?
All right. Close. But what do we say about already? Already tells us that the activity is completed. But what did we notice about the time? When it's new, when it's recent, we use just. All right. So you just started that new job and you are already complaining. Repeat.
Mm, yes, you just start that new job and you are already complaining.
All right. Esmeralda, number six.
Is still.
All right. Read it in the sentence.
They hurried to the store, but this was still closed.
All right. We know it's negative. However, was it complete? Yes. The store is not open. All right. And we don't know if it's recent. So if the activity is completed and is not recent, we use already. Now, just imagine running to get something from the OXXO, but that OXXO is not 24/7. It was already closed. Repeat.
La leo toda de nuevo.
Yes, please.
Is they hurried to the store, but it was already closed.
All right. Now, notice, guys, we're going between present perfect and past simple. All right. Number 7, let's continue. And let's go with Gabriel Hernandez.
Sería, are you just dating Jim?
All
Oh,
right. Is the dating over? All right. Remember, we use just and already for completed. We use still and yet for things that are not completed. All right. Since dating refers to you going out with someone and getting to know them, we are expecting this to continue. So we would use the more positive one, still. Are you still dating Jim? Repeat.
are you still dating Jim?
All right. Reference. We use still when we know that something is continuing, but it hasn't gotten to its end. It helps us to show whether something continues. All right. Not complete. All right. Good. All right. Let's continue with dun 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 dun. Jocelyn, number 8.
Michael hasn't paid me all the money he owes me already.
What goes at the end of sentences? Remember, already and just for completed. Not completed, we use still and yet. What usually goes at the end of the sentence?
Yet?
Yet usually goes at the end of the sentences. All right. So hopefully you're seeing the pattern now, guys. We use already and still both when the activity is completed, but it's important to the present. We use still and yet when it hasn't been completed. Generally, when we have an expectation, and this one in a more negative or more questioning form, but both of these are incomplete. All right, let's continue with Hugo, number 9.
Yes. Is Michael just hasn't paid me all the money he owes me?
All right, what did we say about incomplete? Incomplete, still and yet. Complete, already and just.
Michael still hasn't paid me all the money he owes me?
Good. All right. So we can say the same thing in 2 different ways. Michael hasn't paid all the money he owes me yet. Incomplete. Or Michael still hasn't paid me all the money he owes me. Incomplete. All right. Both of these work. Yet usually goes at the end of the sentence. Still goes before the auxiliary. All right. Number 10. Let's go with Juan Jose.
Michael said he Michael said he still pay you the money.
Is this negative? Is this incomplete? Or is this complete?
Is complete.
All right.
Entonces he just paid you the money.
All right. That's what he said. He just paid you the money. We don't know. I don't see any references to time. So I'd go with already. but any of these two could work here. For your completed actions, we can use just and already. Remember the time. Already is more general, but just is for recent. Still and yet are for incomplete. Yet generally goes at the end of the sentence. All right, let's do some more. Dun, 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 dun. All right, Carla, Yasmin.
Yes,
Let's see.
I'm here.
Let's see if you can unscramble this sentence. Look at the words you see there and try to make a sentence. For example, I have already eaten lunch. I have already eaten lunch. Remember where you need to put your adverbs. All right? What do you think?
It could be, have you seen this film yet?
Exactly. Have you seen this film yet? Yet always goes at the end of the sentence. All right? Natalie, number 2.
Sí,
Mhm.
I just
Mhm.
knew
What's the action? What's your verb?
bought
I just bought. Good. What did you just buy?
a new car.
Exactly. I just bought a new car. Good. All right, let's continue with, all right, Karime, number 3.
Um, Sería, she still
Mhm.
doesn't know what to do.
Exactly. She still doesn't know what to do. Good. All right, let's continue with Luis Eduardo.
Teacher, perdón, es que le estaba dando permiso a la aplicación.
That's
Es
okay, Luis.
take a minute.
Again?
It will just take a minute.
Good. It will just take a minute. All right, let's continue with Maria Jose.
Can you still help me on Saturday?
All right, can you still help me on Saturday? All right, Valeria, number 6.
Oh, yes. We have already finished our project.
Correct. All right. Let's continue with Adriana, number 7.
Sería, I haven't made dinner yet.
Mhm. All right. And all right. Alexis, you get the last one.
Sería they still um, in that house like all
What's the verb? What's the action?
live
Live. All right. Good. Where?
in that house all
Mhm. All right. Adverbs come before nouns. They still live in that
that
old house. Descriptive words come before substantives. All right. They still live in that old house. Repeat.
they still live in that whole house.
Good. All right. I'll stop here, guys. I'll share the activity so you can practice some more. Before we wrap up for today, however, don't forget, complete all of your activities in the 3 blocks. Save your evidence to an online folder. Share that online folder with me. Whenever you complete a unit, let me know. Send me an email. Teacher, I've completed unit 1. I'll go in, I'll provide you feedback. For this unit, the goal is to complete your activities and then submit your forum. For those who have already completed the activities and completed the forum, I'll start grading yours right away. All right, so you can start seeing scores on your platform and I'll give you feedback via email. If you have any questions, do let me know. That's where we'll stop for today. I'll see you soon. When it comes to dates, guys, remember, today is the 6th of September. Tuesday is the 9th of September. We do not have class next Saturday. I will see you in October. No, see it. Not true. I'll see you not next week, the other week. So next week, the 13th, no, rest, enjoy your holiday with your family. I will see you the other week on the 20th. All right. So stay safe, complete your work. If you have questions, let me know. I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.
Bye.
See you, teacher.
See you,
Thank
teacher.
you,
Good.
teacher.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yo quería saber si no importa que enviemos todo el foro hoy.
Go ahead.
Ok, gracias. Hasta
Do it
luego.
early. You're welcome. See you soon.